Hey guys, this is Sharad with ReSimpli. I have a very special guest, Ted Manahan, on this call. He's been using ReSimpli for a while, so we wanted to bring him on to share his experience using ReSimpli. Ted, welcome to our case study call. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Shred.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for coming on the call. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live and what market do you invest in?
I live in San Francisco. I work in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. I've been investing full time since 2017, so 7 years now. And I started using ReSimpli, I want to say end of 2022 is what I want to say. It's been almost 2 years now. I do fix and flips. I primarily wholesale though. So a lot of leads that, that need a lot of follow up, a lot of long-term love, right? Because the business out here, property values are prohibitively expensive. They're very, very high compared to other parts of the country. And so that paired with some tax incentives in the California code, families and people tend to hold on to their properties for a pretty long time until the conditions are just right. So having consistent follow up with them, sometimes on a very long timeline, like year and a half, 2 years, is key to the business.
Absolutely. And then the market that you're in, it's very expensive market, probably one of the most expensive markets in the country.
Yeah.
So your business model is more high margin, low volume deal. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So for instance, I had a property visit in San Francisco today, and that property I offered, we're in verbal negotiation still, and I had a verbal offer, that went out on Wednesday for 2.1 million. So
Wow.
it countered 2.3 million. And the after repair value of it, depending on market conditions and all the level of rehab, potentially 3.8, 3.9 million. Um,
Wow.
and I've been
Yeah.
talking, spent hours and upon hours, talking with this woman because she wants to make sure it's the right person, it's the right, circumstance. There's a
Okay.
lot of emotion around it, right?
Absolutely.
Like any off-market transaction, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you mind sharing how many deals you do per month, per year? Totally cool if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's about so large deals like that. It's usually about one per quarter. So,
Okay.
if I do now, people in my market have much higher volume, right? They have a much larger, budget. Buddy of mine, he spends about 20,000 a month on SEO and PPC. So all of his leads are inbound, and he does probably 2 to 3 deals a month. Um,
Okay.
I do probably 2 to 3 deals a quarter, and
Right.
they range in profit margin. So, I mentioned that 2 million, $3 million house just now. Well, I'm also working on a property in Oakland, right? That's in a much lower end market, and the after repair value of that property is a little over 500,000 probably, and I'm negotiating for a price to go under 300,000 now. So there's a wide
Oh.
range of the market that I work in as well.
Yeah, compared to majority of the markets, the country out there, it's still pretty high end. Like even 500, like relatively, it's
Sure.
very
Yeah,
low end for you. But like for us, we're in a price point 200, 250 in Indiana. So,
for sure. And I
and
grew up in an area
how,
like that too. Yeah. Go ahead,
okay,
please.
interesting. And what's your current team size?
Right now, it's me, and so I have several partners that I work with. But right now, as far as lead generation, intake, visiting the properties, and talking to sellers, it's just me. So I
Okay,
work my
awesome.
acquisition team. I'm my own acquisition team, and and I partner with other people to. So, for instance, I have a buddy out here who his strategy is so I do pure off market. I'm getting my license. I plan to be able to list properties in the future, just to increase my my reach in terms of how I can capitalize on things. But I have a buddy who has his license, has been investing for a lot longer than me, and his strategy is to train new people, bring them up, and train them on how to go find off-market leads on the MLS and to talking to agents, that kind of thing.
Got it.
And so I've partnered with him recently. And so part of the training that, I'm going to be doing, he brought me into the program because like, hey, it's an opportunity for me to meet people. It's also an opportunity for me to, promote my business and see if there's anybody that I can help as well. And so
Got
now,
it.
I have all these old leads that I need help with going and door knocking and all that kind of stuff and doing the cold calling, followed up cold call. A lot of these people are deep dive property owners that I can't find, just because, there's a trustee that's, not related.
Right.
in the, direct relation chain to the owner and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to be helping to, we're going to be helping to train them up on how to go find these people as well. So I do a lot of partnerships as well with people out here, as well as on the web.
For your off-market deals, like what some of the primary marketing channels that you're using in your business?
My biggest and best is direct mail. So that's very, very powerful. So I like to do very highly targeted direct mail. And so what I'll do is I'll identify like long-term ownership, high equity, like a non-market transfer at some point, and then layer in some sort of additional pain point, right? So
Got
for
it.
tax lien, that kind of thing. And, and then I'll mail them, skip trace them first, of course, right? And mail them and then put them on the cold call campaign. Use the list stacker, right? The REsimpli list stacker to identify all those pain points, generate a list of, a few thousand, few hundred, whatever it is, and then, follow up that mail with a cold call and say, hey, I sent you
Interesting.
mail. Did you get it? And then,
Okay. I
yeah,
like that. So you're following up on the mail that you're sending out. So it's not like totally unrelated. Yeah, that's a great idea.
exactly, right, exactly. So you send it
Yeah.
out, and it's especially powerful, so when you're doing like highly targeted things that you already know, so like a couple of hundred, for instance, right?
Right.
It's always best, of course, to have that, so the cold call goes out and it's, hey, did you get the thing? And you can send a text message and drop a voicemail as well, right? So I'll do that as well. So you get the mail piece, you get the cold call in, you got to drop the voicemail, and you send the text message. And all of that is within the first couple of weeks. And then people who get back to you, right, you talk to them, and unless they say, F you, take me off your list, which happens, right?
Right.
Ready to sell, or whatever the circumstances are, then you put them on a drip campaign. They become a lead and you put them on the drip campaign, and then you can start that process automatically. And I
Got
know
it.
that you also have the direct, and then the direct mail is part of the REsimpli service as well. So now
Right.
you can automate that and just have it go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. And you've been using REsimpli for about year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
What specific pain points were you facing before you moved to REsimpli?
It was too many tools, honestly. It was too many tools that, one would break down or it wouldn't integrate, or there'd be some sort of login issue or something like that. And, it was just a pain, so for instance, having the list stacker separate from the cold caller, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have the list stacker and then you put that list into Call Mojo, and then you may or may not like the CRM capability of Call Mojo, or it doesn't integrate super well with other tools. So just having, and then like, if you're going to use launch control or some sort of other, text blasting program, it's just, you can set all of that up with like uh
Zapier.
Zapier. Thank you. I couldn't think of
Yeah.
it. You can set all that up and do all that in Zapier, but like it is kind of a pain in the butt. And then
Yeah.
Zapier, as it's
It
has its
gets pretty
own,
expensive.
it gets expensive, and it's
Yeah.
also its own single point of failure, right? And
Absolutely.
so, with REsimpli, the integration is there, and and one thing especially I like, is having the list stacker in there and having be like the source of truth. And then when you're ready for something to push out, you can just push it out and you do pretty
Yeah.
easily. And whether you skip
Absolutely.
trace and skip trace natively in REsimpli, or you use a separate skip tracer, right? So I like to get skip trace that includes updated mail. You can still
Right.
upload that into REsimpli, and I like,
Absolutely. Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Continue to
Yeah, no,
do.
when we started the company, I personally hated the idea of logging into different tools. It's like I'm using iPhone for calling and then I'm using Android for calendar, which, it's like you could do that, but why would you want to do that? Cool. Thank you for sharing that. And so when you joined REsimpli, can you speak a little bit about what was your onboarding experience for you?
It was fairly straightforward. You didn't have the robustness of the tool that you have now, and you didn't have
Right.
the staff that you had now, but you also had a much smaller, customer base at the same time too, compared to now, right? Not to say there was
Right.
a small customer base at the time. The onboarding process was pretty easy, I would say, and your team was very to this day, they continue to be quick and responsive, and they were very helpful in helping get things set up and everything. Yeah, yeah, your team is really great. They're fast and
Yeah.
friendly, thorough.
Yeah, how do you feel about like the support that we have available, like the resources to if there's any questions or anything that you have to be able to, answer that. Like especially we rolled out the live Zoom that you can jump on. Any thoughts on that?
I like it a lot. I used it today actually. So
Nice.
I had an agent from a real estate agent come in, and I didn't. Reminds me, I gotta go. I gotta call him back. I had a lead come in from a real estate agent, and so I assigned the campaign to it. And then I couldn't. I was like, "What's going on here?" I couldn't assign it to myself. I couldn't assign a task, and so I reached out, on Zoom, and then a couple of minutes later, I was sharing the screen, and she explained to me, oh, like you don't have a phone number assigned to that lead source. And
Right.
so she walked me through how to do that, and then everything worked and everything was fine. And then while we were going through and just looking at this stuff, like we also noticed, oh, hey, this thing isn't correct thing yet right now. Like it's 10 DLC hadn't been updated for whatever reason, the link. And so she's like, I'll go ahead and submit a ticket for you right now. And so
Perfect.
somebody on the back end can handle that. So I've
Right.
been really impressed with the support.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love that feature about like just not having to wait. You just click a button and someone is waiting for you on the live Zoom call. Yeah, we've had a lot of customers like we use that. That's faster than getting a reply on a text message. Yeah. How has ReSimpli helped you achieve your goals?
I would say that offloading the mental bandwidth of having to do manual follow-up has been really critical.
Right.
The automated tools, like this has happened more than once where, I'll have a customized text go out for a drip campaign, and the message comes and comes back to me and it shows up in my inbox. I'm like, oh, that person is ready to talk, right? They think that they thought I sent them a personal message, which it is personalized, right? It has merge fields for the name and the address and all that kind of stuff, whatever you want to put in it. But like they got back to me, I get notified in ReSimpli, it shows up on my text. I'm like, okay, I forgot that this person was even out there, and now they're ready to talk, and now that's a conversation that I'm having. So I would say, that's been a big aspect of
Yeah.
value add that ReSimpli has for my business.
Yeah, we just closed a deal yesterday that was in our follow pipeline for 400 days. Yeah, it just we kept texting, calling, and then the person when they were ready, it's amazing. Like people notice those texts, and when they're ready, they'll text back. They're like, "Okay, I'm ready." Like they feel like it's like one-on-one conversation going on. They don't know it's like automated. They feel like we're just text is going to them like, "Hey, we use like a generic name Jay Davis. It's like, hey Jay, I'm ready to sell my house. When can you guys come look at it? It's a 350,000 house, which is like pennies for you. We bought it for 90,000, so we're pretty excited about
That's an
that.
amazing
Uh,
deal. That's an
yeah,
amazing deal. Really, that
yeah,
is. That's a price point, like that is a great really good deal.
yeah.
Even for a teardown.
Cool. Yeah. Can you share some specific metrics or outcomes you've noticed since you started using ReSimpli in your business?
I have so the one that I'll say I've seen the most is it has reduced my need for cost on how much I spend on direct mail,
Right.
uh, because I'm able to refine my lists better and easier using that. It makes it easier because it's so easy to integrate and pick out new phone numbers in the system and have it linked with this list stacker. I can do A/B testing very easily with it, right? So, for instance, I did a large direct mail campaign last year that I did A/B testing on 4 separate pieces. And based on those 4 pieces, it was like one was like with branding, no branding, with a QR code, without a QR code, some combination of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
love
so,
that. Love that. Yeah.
mhm.
Being
So
able to
that's
make data-driven decisions, that's so powerful. Yeah, I love
exactly,
that.
exactly
Yeah.
right. So for my market, it was like with branding and a QR code easily had the best response rate. So
Nice.
then I did follow-up campaigns and then integrated that, utilized that piece across the different campaigns.
That's
So
amazing.
able to
Yeah,
increase.
thank you for sharing that. Which
Yeah,
features of ReSimpli do you find most valuable?
I mean, I keep saying this, but the list stacker and the drip campaign,
Yeah,
those two things integrated together are really powerful. Being able to, put all the data in the list stacker and to break it down into highly targeted pain points, to skip trace it, and then push out, a list into the dialer, and then from the dialer create a lead. And then from the lead create a drip campaign for follow up. All of that is really powerful. And you can
amazing.
integrate the text message, the ringless voicemail, the email, all of it. Even the physical direct mail, right, is an option in there too. And so all of that sort of vertically integrated, chain is for me, for my money, very, very powerful. And there are a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
features in ReSimpli I don't even use, right? I
yeah.
haven't used, because there's so many of them.
Yeah, check out the AI call summary. That's That's super powerful.
I've
Yeah.
been seeing that as an option. Yeah, I don't have the
Yeah.
enterprise right now, so I haven't used it yet, but it
It's
looks
available on all plans. Yeah.
okay. Is it
Yeah.
like a credit-based thing?
Yeah. It's like a credit base, but yeah, it's pretty on point. Yeah. I've
Oh,
been using it on any calls over 5 minutes.
yeah, that I would say that's probably the most powerful thing. Anytime
Yeah.
that calls get long, because some of my calls are,
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes, an hour long,
Yeah.
right? And, going and I write notes as I go, but it's also, I am looking forward to doing that. I'll do that.
Yeah. Would you say since you've been using Resimpli has helped you close deals that you would not have probably closed if you were using, like mix of all the different softwares?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say it's helped me because it reduces friction as well, looking up information as well, right? Like I can do,
Right.
like a lead comes in and I can look up that address really quickly. And then based on, what's in the address, what's in my notes and I can see the call history, the contact history, communication, and I can see, very easily what, I can pin a note at the top. So for
Right.
instance, I'm looking at tax liens, I can put a note in there that says like taxes are this far behind, this is how late they are, and just have that be at the top. And then any notes that I've had with the communication follows in down there. And then I can also see and look like, okay, this lead is converting, it's doing a good job. Then I can go down and look at the tags that are associated with it and what campaigns are associated with it. So I
Absolutely.
know what the pain points are, how many pain points there are, and what mail piece I used, right? Again, and how many times did I touch them, right? In terms
Right.
of a call, a text, whatever it is.
What are your future goals and how do you see Resimpli playing a role in achieving your goals?
Yeah, so I plan to expand my team again, right? So I had a team last year, and I decided I had a son. My wife had a son, our son, and so I stepped back from the business a little bit. And I was, my team, I was like, this, I need to spend family time. I'm gonna take some time off. I was in a position to do it, and so coming back, I'm ramping back up, and so.
Nice.
Integrating people back into the team in terms and being able to assign them usernames and
Right.
allowing them access to different things rather than the whole thing. That those are my next steps to start scaling
Awesome.
and using the tool in that way.
Perfect. All right. Last two questions. Is there anything particular about Resimpli that, in your opinion, sets it apart from other real estate software you've used or that are in the market right now?
I would say all the things I've already described from the technical aspect, but I'll also say that the support is pretty phenomenal.
Thank you.
You always, of course, you're always integrating new things into the tool. You're always posting on the Facebook group and taking live feedback from people and being receptive to that. And your team is very fast and receptive and friendly as well. They take care of things as best they can, and they communicate quickly and all those things. So I would say that does the customer service and support stands out for sure.
Thank you.
Of
All
course.
right. Final question. What would you say to someone who's listening to this and is on the fence about using Resimpli for their business?
I would say ask yourself how much you're already paying, right, for all the different tools, how long you've been taking to set up those tools, how well they work together, and whether or not you think it's worth the time and effort to continue doing that. Especially if you're integrating with things like Zapier and how many tools do you have? Three, four, five tools. How well do they sing together, right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Ted. If someone who's listening to this want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Absolutely. So they can call the number on my shirt, call or text. So
All right.
415, right, 936-8203.
Perfect.
Check me out at bayhomebuyers.com as well. And my
Cool.
information is there too.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted. Thank you so much for coming on the call. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. I love the
Thanks.
tool and appreciate everything.